Yes, the first quarterfinal of the ESL Pro League LAN finals are underway right now. Mousesports taking on SK Gaming for a spot in the semifinal. They've got G2 waiting for them there. But let's start with Mousesports, a team that at the beginning of the season we were pretty much thinking that they were going to have a really rough road when they lost Nico. Who was going to step up into their place? And it's been everyone on this team. Chad, you've mentioned a couple times there's no slouches on this squad, and they have 5 players now who can deliver.
Yeah, and the really interesting thing is everybody's kind of stood up in this tournament so far. I think they've had 4 different player of the matches throughout their group stage. So that means everybody's done it. And the only one who hasn't is Dennis, and he's the one who we'd normally see as the I guess, least, I guess, fragger. Yeah. But the thing with Dennis is he's the entry fragger on that T side, right? And if you look at the positions that he's playing on the CT side, he's also in some rotated positions, so he's going to have a rough time across the board. But yeah, the positives here, Oscar, he's having a great tournament so far, and Rops is also chiming in, slowly getting molded into that star that we think he can be.
Haven't even gotten to Chris J yet, who had that 30 kill game against Optic on Cobble as well. So I mean, just so much talent on this roster. Vendetta, like these guys, I mean, we haven't even gotten to Lol. Lol's shown up to be a very good young player who's kind of filled his gap in this roster very nicely. Yeah,
absolutely, and he's been around for a while as well. Similar to with Mixwell, didn't really get their break until very late into their career in that sense.
ESL Barcelona, G-Bots.
Yeah, exactly. That's where dreams started, right? And for Lol as well, he's been around for a long time. So it's cool to see that he's finally getting a shot and is actually taking full advantage of it as well. I think, as you mentioned, if we're going to highlight people, it's probably going to be guys like Oscar or Robs because, just because of the performances they've put out. But always, right behind them is Lowell, and he's just been a very consistent performer for them. And I think that's incredibly important when you have to do things by committee instead of just relying on individuals.
Especially someone who's definitely standing right behind them is LMBT, and I'm actually, without talking to them and just watching their gameplay, Chris J being a new in-game leader, I'm going to put a lot on LMBT for giving these guys a good game plan. When you watch them play, they have moves, right, that are predetermined. The thing that I don't think that they have completely worked out yet and is going to take time is the chemistry or the theory side of Counter-Strike. It's obvious that they've done like strategies and moves on the CT side to take territory, but it's very telegraphed. Yep. You're watching maybe their cobblestone and stuff, you can see when certain smokes land, you know which players are going to be where, which is all good and fine, but once you get worked out, that's when you need to be a team like SK who has natural chemistry and can adapt on the fly. So I think they're still building to that.
No, that's a great way to lead in, because if there's any team that has nailed down this theory and have kind of written the book on theory in the current meta at the moment, it's SK Gaming. These guys have been incredible the way they play together for the past year or so, and now with Phelps finally looking like they're feeling comfortable with him in the roster.
Yeah, really coming into his own, Phelps, ever since he's joining this lineup, and it's very true. It seems like Fallen is, that crazy alchemist that kind of found the golden recipe for success in CS for the last year and a half, and it's kind of nice to see that even with the struggles they had initially, they're not necessarily backing away from it either. They're sticking to what they know. They're sticking to what's been tried and true in the past, and going with that. So even if that does mean that Phelps has to make some adjustments to his game style, they're still going to be a very strong team, and I think overall that's what we're seeing more and more of.
Yeah, I don't think it's Phelps getting comfortable in the team. I think it's Phelps being forced to do what the team needs him to do. So if anything, he's probably less comfortable. And someone who's looks like they've been let off the leash more because of that is this man on the screen right now, Fur. He was having an absolute field day in drop room on Cobble in those victories they had, just manhandling the opponent, which was great to see. I think the player we're seeing at this point in time who's struggling because of all this aggression is Coldzera. He doesn't really need to shine as much when his stars are just going out and killing everybody, Yeah. They don't need as many clutch rounds, especially when they're not dropping any T rounds. It's like, well,
there's a limit to what he can do, right? Like, again, there's only 5 people to kill, and if Brian Phelps are going to kill 4 of them, then you're only left with so much.
That's been the talk of throughout this group stage of SK, is that we still haven't seen Cold,
which
is insane.
No,
he's here now. It's series play where he comes alive. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to get the vetoes up on the screen as soon as they come in. But, I mean, just first, a little bit of thoughts heading into this map pick phase. I mean, we often talk that there's not a lot of weaknesses you can pick out for SK, but heading into the map veto phase, it's always been one of their biggest strengths. Where are they looking to take this one? I mean, surely Cobble is a map that they would like to play.
But this is the curious thing about SK, because leading into this tournament, they said that, or they've said that we don't really know what our map pool is anymore. All we know, pretty much for certainty, is that they're not playing Nuke.
Yeah,
and that's normally you could pretty much pinpoint what SK wanted to do depending on who they were playing against. Nowadays, it's a bit more up in the air. Cobble's definitely still a strong map for them, but then it comes down to whether they fall shook by the fact that they lost so heavily to G2 yesterday. Same thing goes with Inferno as well. It's been a map that they've happily taken on them, even though it's a fairly new map into the pool. And then they go on to lose 16-3 to Envious. So whether or not that's going to actually shake their confidence and they're going to stay away from those maps is obviously something that is going to be tough to tell.
What we're seeing on the screen right now is one of the potential strengths and weaknesses at the same time, I think, for SK is that AWP on Taco, right?
Yeah.
I think it's good that he picks it up for utility's sake to take that map control when they know they need it. But it also, if they do a fast B, he gets caught out of position. He's not a combat AWP. You're not going to see him doing the fall and quick scopes, just flicking around and getting multi-kills. That's when I see them struggling with the AWP. So if you know he's going to be picking that up, and he has been quite early, which I'm not really a fan of, it can be exploited on that B site quite easily. So that's something that they have to weigh up as a pro or a con. And then that drop control by Fur and Phelps, like early and late round, is really good on their T side.
Right. I mean, that's always going to be an important part of the map. But then, I mean, moving on to another map that SK seemingly had a little bit of a favoritism toward is Cash, which was kind of interesting in this phase just because, remember, Mousesports with Nico, Cash was like their one-trick pony map. That was the map you just never played him on. It was basically all they could get wins on.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, is there a chance, because we've seen SK Gaming more and more playing a bit of Cash?
Yeah, they've definitely been playing more and more in Cash, and one of the things that's been really helpful for them is obviously Coldzera and Phelps playing towards that B-bomb set is never a bad combo to have. At times they do seem a tiny bit, you know, disjointed in what they want to do. Phelps oftentimes lurking around those smokes around B main, while Coldzera is playing more further back and passive towards the B side, which can obviously lead to awkward situation where Phelps get caught off and there's no real return frag from Coldzera because he's not in a position to do so. But I think one of the strengths they have on their CT side is Fur. You know, as you mentioned, he's been lights up for the better part of 2017, and one of the ways he does that on Cash is by being hyper aggressive, whether it's towards A main or actually being active towards middle, getting pop flashed into A main, for instance, just to find those early opening frags for SK alleviates a ton of pressure for them.
Yeah, and I think on that CT side as well, something which is going back to that theory side of Counter-Strike we talk about, something that Fallen preaches to these guys is the way to take map control. So when they lose a piece, let's say they lose middle, they're always going aggressive in that A main and taking that back off them. Cage for me is a map where you need to do that. You need to make sure if you're losing territory, you're taking ground somewhere else, or you're just playing a very retake setup, and SK have a fantastic understanding of that.
Yeah. Interesting note is in the map pool of SK at the moment is Train used to be such a dominant map for them, and with the Phelps acquisition, they've only been 5-8 on it since he joined the roster, so that's dipped off a little bit. Would be kind of fun to see if they're going to go back to that. Also to find out why exactly Phelps has not been working well on that map. Either way, when we switch over to the Mousesports side of things in this veto phase, Inferno, I mean, that seems like a map that they would like to play. Where are they going to try and take this one against an SK rush that's always had this deep map pool?
Well, it looks like SK are already struggling mentally with losing a map, right? You know, they didn't pick it again versus Envious like we touched on earlier, so it'd be interesting to see losing Inferno to Envious, how that's going to resonate with them. Are they going to be willing to allow that in the veto phase? How strong do Mouse feel on that map, right? They have a lot of versatility, but we do say, you know, AWPers can struggle on that. That hasn't been the case for Oscar, who moves around with that AWP. You see him in apps, you see him like quad side of mid, you see him at B. He's everywhere with it, and that's very menacing. It makes it very difficult for the Ts. They have to use a lot more flashes and jiggle peeking and utility to clear out corners so they're not losing a frag and giving away an early man advantage. So when you have a player like this, Oscar is the type of AWPer that I would love to work with. The guy that is telling me as an in-game leader, I want to go here, I want to pick here, this is the plan I want to do, flash for me. That's so good because as in-game leader, you have someone who's taking the initiative and making your life so much easier on that CT side. And yeah, props to him.
Yeah, and this round in particular is kind of a result of what you see initially, the fact that Oscar's been moving about so like all over the map that Liquid doesn't really have any sort of opportunity to kind of pinpoint, like we know that he's going to be playing this part of the map, so we can, you know, either save utility for going towards, you know, towards A instead of B because that's where Oscar was last round, that kind of thing, and they end up walking into a bit of a gauntlet, and Mousesports are able to set up in a pretty decent manner where they actually have, you know, follow-ups to whatever Oscar's doing, because you saw in all of those clips, whenever Oscar is moving on a different side of the map, he's never necessarily alone. If he's going aggressively in Banana, he had 2 people with him. So he's always kind of that surprise momentum that opponents can never really be certain of, and that's obviously terrifying if you're playing the T side because you have to spend so much utility that when you finally get the map control to set up for an execute, you're not going to have the same kind of strength and oomph to your push as you would have had initially.
The only problem that I see with this kind of playstyle across all maps is if you only can rely on an AWP or aggressive moves to find you map control and frags early, and you can't just hold the bomb sites in a standard, you know, 2-1-2 kind of formation on, say, like a Cage or an Inferno, for example, 2 on the quad side / apps, 1 on the arch side, and then 2 towards B. If you can't just hold like that, you're going to have a hard time falling back when a team is waiting out until the last, you know, 20-30 seconds of a round. If you're searching for an aggressive pick all the time, you will get punished, and that can, you know, put you in 4v5 situations, and no one wants to be there.
Yeah, it's actually, and I think especially when you're going up against a team like SK who are going to be very quick to realize what your strengths and weaknesses are, that's how you get abused very easily if you don't have a fallback plan. And we see that all the time, actually, with these fringe teams who are not necessarily established at the very top, who are trying to make that final push. They get, you know, at times manhandled by the very best teams in the world because they're able to recognize those kind of small nuances to their game.
Yeah, and now we're going to get up the map, Vito. We talked a lot about what we think we're going to be seeing, but we're going to get up exactly what these teams have picked and banned, see where this battle is going to take place. This is a best of 3. We've had best of 1s up until then, so it is the standard. Each team's going to ban a map, each team's going to pick a map, and we're going to get down to the decider as well. And here we're going to see the bans coming out. Nuke for SK, Overpass for Mousesports.
Yeah, the interesting thing here for Mousesports, right, is if they float that train into the first pick phase, which they have, it could be picked and used against them. But SK, on the other hand, they showed a lot in those overtimes with their default strategies and how they like to approach full gun rounds. So a lot of research can be done by the Mousesports guys against that. I don't know. It was either Overpass or Train, right? When we were theory crafting this, it was going to be the ban for Mouse. So I guess they're not too scared of Train, more scared of Overpass.
I think it's more of a case that we haven't really seen SK have a certain necessarily a dip on Overpass like we've seen them have on Train ever since Phelps came into that lineup. SK is still a very, very strong Overpass team. Train definitely have some very glaring issues to, at least on their CT sides, that they have to address, and that's obviously something that Mousesports, again, have plenty of maps to look into. They can look at demos and whatnot throughout the regular season to see what kind of mistakes that SK are making on that map.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind with this pick phase is the other team gets to pick the side, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be giving away a map right now which can be heavily CT sided. So SK, if they were to pick Train, that means that Mouse can take that CT side and run away with it. So going into the next round, right? If you're SK, I'm not quite sure. You can choose from a lot of maps, right? Mirage, historically, a map that they broke out on. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mousesports who picked Mirage and SK who picked Cache. So they're really middle ground maps, right?
They're very middle ground maps. And again, we talked about
Mousesports starts as T as well on
Mirage.
Both sides, or both maps really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's the end of the world. Like starting T on Cache, not necessarily the end of the world at all. I don't think it's going to be that bad for them necessarily on Mirage either if they have a good game plan for it. Honestly, I'm kind of a bit surprised. I could see the pick for SK side, why they want to go with Cache. They haven't played it so far this tournament, but it's been a very strong map for them offline.
Is it a risk, though, to go that into Mousesports? I mean, this is a team that's historically a different lineup, yes, but...
The historic Mousesports on Cache, for me, is a team who just made these amazing gambles and these amazing reads on their CT side, right? And they would find themselves having like a 3-stack there or doing perfect digression and finding frags and just completely shutting down the opponent on the T side. So if that's LMBT's doing, which I think it was when Nico was in the team as well, then that could happen to SK. But if SK are confident on it, we don't.
Yeah, but I mean, go the other way with
confidence.
it, right? This used to be at one point SK Gaming's permaban. They just didn't want to play Cache whatsoever. They've been working back into it, but are we really that sold on the idea of Cache?
I'm more sold on the idea of Cache, honestly, than Mirage, really, for SK. But again, I still would have expected them to play something like Cobble if they were following the same mantra that they did yesterday, obviously, and picking to their strengths and not necessarily caring about what their other opponents are doing. So in that sense, it's a bit of a surprise pick, but I think SK should be perfectly fine in handling Mousesports on Cache, actually, because I think the kind of playstyle you mentioned that Mousesports were known for, the kind of one-trick pony thing, I think that's much easier to pull off if you have a guy like Nico on your team.
Yeah.
It's much easier to do that when an individual can potentially win you the game alone than doing it by committee versus a very, very strong team.
I think that Fallen can get really exploited in middle on Cache on the CT side because he kind of solo AWPs it. If they're doing the connector and highway box smokes and taking it quick, like the old meta used to be like a year and a half ago, now what Jason experienced at the show match in Sydney, actually. If they bust that out, Fallen has to drop back, and that means that the protocols and the theory that SK has in play has to be on point, and they have to react instantly.
I think that was Henry who experienced it as the mid player.
He copped it.
Yeah, the Train and Inferno is going to be the next ban that's going to leave the remaining map as Cobble, so... That's the decider. I mean, this was a map that we thought maybe SK was going to be good on. I mean, which way are we thinking these 3 maps are going to be played? Mirage, Cache, Cobble. Is this a win for Mousesports? Is this a win for SK in this veto phase?
I think it's very middle ground overall. Again, I'm a tiny bit surprised. Again, well, SK, they have looked weaker on Train, but I don't necessarily think we've seen too much impressive stuff from Mousesports on Train either. So to see them ban that out, you know, as their own
lack of confidence, perhaps, rather than
it's kind of weird, yeah. But overall, it's just a very middle of the road veto for both sides. But that leaves you with a favoring SK.
I agree exactly with that. You know, I think that now that we have 3 maps that all teams are comfortable on, you would say SK would be favored due to that experience, right? They've been at this stage time and time again where these Mousesports guys, they make it to quarterfinals, but Robs, for example, he's never been deep in a tournament of this caliber before. You know, he's been to the DreamHack, but this is another level. So for him to be under this pressure so early, he's going to see how he shows up, right? If he has any issues, and this is where he will crack if he's going to.
And if they move on, then they're on the stage in the Verizon Theater in Dallas. That's an even another level. That's kind of an overall glimpse. Let's focus on Mirage for the moment. This is a map for SK Gaming. One of their strengths on it is Phelps. I mean, this was like the first map when he came into the roster. They actually looked pretty good on with how he plays in Window Room, with how aggressively he likes to play.
And this is why I'm a bit curious as to why Mousesports want to take it into Mirage, because if you have the chance to potentially get them on a necessarily weaker map where they haven't felt too confident. It was Mousesports pick.
Mouse pick Mirage and SK pick Cash.
Okay.
Well, that's what it showed on the graphic.
Okay.
Yeah, and if that is the case, then that's kind of it's bold, I guess, from Mousesports to go into Mirage because of what you mentioned. It's one of the first maps that actually started clicking with Phelps. They didn't necessarily have to make too many adjustments to their playstyle. They could kind of just let Phelps do what he does, and you see that especially on their mid takes of Mirage. Phelps has that kind of 3-step motion that he does in mid almost every single time, and he always seems to find a lot of kills from it. So I'm actually, if I'm SK, I'm super happy about Mousesports going into this map.
Yeah, and Jason, I feel like you're looking up clarification for this.
I am. SK picked Mirage.
SK did pick Mirage.
I was right, like usual.
Well, we're just going off the graphic, all right? Don't throw us under the bus.
Yeah,
we throw production under the bus, and that's fine. They're the ones that get thrown.
Had a good time with graphics this weekend.
Yeah, it's been good fun. But yeah, exactly that Phelps play. I remember playing. I always used to love to get a player in the vent room, right? That's not as pivotal as Window.
Yeah.
Window, I think you have a lot more flexibility. There's a lot you can do with that. I think also with their CT holds, that A combo of Fur and Phelps is so strong. Like, it's so hard to deal with because that aggression in Palace or A-Ramp can come in at any time. They're also helping with, towards Connector with Fallen. And then you have Cold Zero as that cap player. Mid and A seem like a no-go zone. I remember that in the past, Cold Zero and Taka have had issues early on towards that B side. I think it was Liquid who were the ones who exploited them, right? And really made them feel uncomfortable. So if I was Mouse, I'd probably be leaning to that side of the map, see if you can find a weakness there early. My biggest concern for Mousesports, though, is on their CT side, they can get dictated to, and without an in-game leader in their ear all the time, like an experienced one, they're going to have a rough time. They're going to have to use those pauses perfectly. Yeah,
and I mean, we'll have to see. And Mousesports has been pretty good tactically. Either way, we've talked a lot about both of these teams. Let us know who you think is going to win. Is it going to be Mousesports? Is it going to be SK? Put your vote in chat. Let's get heard. Either way, the first quarterfinal of the ESL Pro League Season 5 Finals is ready to get underway. Bringing you the action is the casters, Sadicus and Henry G.
Thank you so much. I don't know where to go with that one.
Yeah, you're still learning, are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's all right. I think we're ready to roll. And for some Counter-Strike, obviously, we're moving into the playoffs. Mousesports, surprise of the season, losing Nico and somehow getting better, it seems.
The good thing is as well, what I like about it is all 5 players are contributing. It's not like they're being carried or one person is going like above and beyond. If you look at the results yesterday, it's actually everyone's getting around the 18 to 21 frags mark. It's actually really nice to watch.
Yeah, Rops I think is a big addition as well. The cool thing for me, well, I guess it's kind of not a cool thing for Nico, but Nico started on this team, left, and didn't make the playoffs, and they did. So here they are. Yeah, it's pretty insane. But we start off on Mirage, my, I think, favorite map still. Not that I'm good at it, I just like it.
So Jason said this was SK's pick, but Mousesports started on T. That's kind of weird. But still, 3 sets of armor, and they will be going for the execution. It's going to be actually 5 players committing straight away. Fallen to open things up, and Phelps as well. USB headshots all over the place.
I like how you start the morning off by calling out Jason. Fallen.
Yeah, he got it
down. Fur's got the shot onto Chris J, though, so we sit 4-2. So Oscar wants to go back in, try and find the shot over towards CT, or excuse me, to E-box stairs and mid-connector. They've taken over the CT stairs, but unfortunately, they've had to give it up to go and protect Lowell on the plant. So Oscar had to fight his way back through the site to keep them in the situation. Good opening shot on Phelps. Quite the headshot he was looking for. That is, though, Taco down. Knows Phelps was closer, so he swings out to find that kill as well. And it's Cold Zero that has to make sure, not only does he get the kills quickly, he gives himself time for the defuse. That's not going to happen. Oscar, 4 kills to start things off.
Cold Zero still not looking himself at this tournament. That's normally a shot towards Shadow that he would nail all day long. You give him an inch like that, he normally takes a mile. But Oscar recovering that situation after losing the first 2 frags. They have very fast execution towards the A site. Quite basic as well. Not a ton of smokes or flashbangs used, more of a contact play. They lose the first 2 frags. Oscar steps up there above and beyond what is required. 4 headshots. Looking very precise as well. Going to round number 2. The force buy, not actually quite a modest buy from SK Gaming. This is what we're seeing more and more of. The CT's getting upgraded pistols, but we do have Fur with the shotgun and Fallen with the scout. So the other 3 taking things a bit easier. CZs. And we'll have a look at the Mousesports buy as well. They've got quite a rifle-centric focus. Going to be Galil's, AKs, and a couple of UMPs as well. So quite powerful in terms of the firepower available to them. 3 smokes, a few flashbangs as well. Going with some early mid-control there. It'll be Chris J, who's Headed towards Delpan, and we've got Lau patrolling top on the middle as well. But no particular stack from the CT side. We've got Fur, that shotgun towards B, and coldzera helping him out as short. Looks like we have got a B split potentially coming here. That smoke pretty much confirms it, but Fallen's there, ready to take the gap down.
Indeed, Fallen's going to rotate off of it as well. Phelps still stays in the window with his deagle.
God.
And absolutely Rex Rops, who then has Lowell walk in, get taken down by coldzera. Things going from bad to worse, and worse still. All 5 going to stay alive before Spy? That's ridiculous.
That's a bit nuts, isn't it? That's why when I saw that smoke deploy, I said, yeah, that pretty much confirms it. But that's a really weak smoke, right? Because you could just smoke in the connector, and then you deny any sort of risk of there being a gap, right? If they'd have done that, like there's a normal smoke you can throw from the top middle that lands on the left-hand side of the connector itself. CTs can't do anything about it. They gave Fallen a little gap to work with. He finds the first kill, then the 1 dig start arriving, and that's SK Gaming leveling things out. Of course, the force buy and return there from Mousesports. They'll be going towards B and middle once again. Chris J and Lau looking to get towards the underpass, but Phelps, he's ready with the M4A4. A nice strong buy here from the SK side. This should be quite easy for them considering there's only 1 smoke available. Phelps watching underpass like a hawk. Easy kill. I say that though, kind of whiffed the shot a little bit. His teammate doing a lot better though. That's Fur getting 3 kills on top of middle. coldzera and Phelps, clean sweep for SK Gaming. Looked a bit hairy at one point, but well recovered.
So they pick up 2 in a row off the back of winning a force buy. Effective. Now leave Mousesports with very little to work with, just pistols. Look back at 1, 2, and 3. Henry.
1, 2, and 3.
Who was that?
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Thanks.
Well, round number 4, you didn't quite get there. It's going to be Mousesports with Glocks in a PT50. It's going to be Dennis. He's got the PT50. So the plan is, oh, okay, just second that Taco just decides to push into B storage, B apartments, not cash, and get the first kill. It's going to be coldzera applying pressure as well. These guys got the UMPs, right? So they're trying to farm some cash. They know they're against absolutely nothing there. Sets the bomb down as well. It's pretty much round over. If coldzera can find a couple more kills here, that'd be great. Like we said, a quiet tournament for us so far. It's good for a player like him to build his confidence with these sort of frags. That might sound a little bit trivial, but it does help. You see your scoreboard racking up and you actually start getting your aim locked in as well. It can help out these star players at the start of the game. There it is. No bomb blinder from Mousesports, of course, but it's enough for a buy. Oscar, though, Matt, $5,200. Does he buy the orb? I don't think he does, no. AK-47 up against the Fallen AWP. It'll be interesting to see whether coldzera or Taco feels like being the secondary orb here today. They've been mixing it up the rods. Normally map dependent, but also form as well. We'll see what round number 5 holds here. We've got a couple of UMPs for the CT side. Normally dictates they might go a little more aggressive, flashing over, trying to find picks, etc. From the connector, coldzera on short as well. Looking like they might want to push this one, but coldzera only with that UMP on short.
Backing off, gets into the corner to make sure no further aggression will be done at middle. He's just going to hold position, hold station, allow his 2 teammates at the boxes to try and clear out a position to get into connector. Good shot from Oscar. Phelps goes down. It's Fur that waits with Cold in the wing to work Cat. Good positioning from both of them. Fur's a little bit limited in this corner, though, because Oscar can see through the wall. I'm surprised he doesn't just take the fight. I'm surprised he doesn't swing out and try and fight that.
I guess he was hoping for his teammate to bail him out. The shots are coming in. Didn't happen, though. Now it's going to be a 3-on-2. Fallen fighting back. Takes down Dennis. The bomb's still down top of the middle. There's still a minute remaining here. Fallen will be rotating through CT spawn. coldzera still in CPL. So they're kind of gambling right now. It's going to be a B-sided attack. I guess they kind of have to take a gamble, but that's not where it's going to be ending up. Mousesports now with the bomb. Heading through T-spawn. That's Chris J. Rob's already ready and waiting at the A-ramp. Oscar's in connector as well. They're set up, poised and ready to head into the A-bomb site. And it'll be interesting to see whether SK decide to go for it. Well, even when this bomb does go down. 30 seconds. Should be pretty clean. Yeah, they have no idea this is going to be planted.
So Cold was in good position at ladder, but no one going that direction renders him useless. And if we find ourselves 3-2 quickly, I'd say that's done. Fallen's just going to try and hold on to the AWP. 9 kill on Oscar.
Give it a go, maybe.
He might, you know. With that kill coming in quick enough, he'll go peek at least to see what's going on. AWP, Molotov toward Palace. He's going to get very aggressive very quickly. Chris is well removed way out toward A-main, and Rops has done very well to give himself time and space. Fallen up close, though. Gets a no-scope. He's tapped the bomb as well. He's got a kit. He's going to try and bait Chris in. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I don't know if he's got it or not. He just barely does. That's incredible. To start it off in what looked like he was just innocently peeking through the vent window.
What a legend. Fallen looking so good in the last couple of tournaments. In Sydney, we thought, okay, he might be back, and I think this tournament confirms it. What an amazing clutch. Just so calculated as well. Spots where Rops is as well. Gets some of his classic close-range flick shots there. Touches the bomb, baits out Chris J, nails it. Very, very well played. That's going to be really frustrating for Mousesports in a round. There's a 3 versus 1 essentially there as well. He gets taken down, and it's going to be round number 6. 4-1 in favor of SK. It's going to be more aggression coming in here as well. Fur pushed towards the middle, spots a couple. Decides to go for the safer bet here and fall back. Didn't get any damage in there, but he scared them off. We've gone to the double orb setup. It will indeed be Fallen and coldzera wielding the 2 sniper rifles. Down to the buy for Mousesports. Money started to dwindle here. You can see they've got a Galil in the hands of Rops. Only a couple of smokes to work with as well. They are at 4-stage loss bonus with that bomb going down the previous as well. So enough to work with, but not ideal in terms of executions. They have to rely purely on headshots here. And coldzera patrolling towards middle as well. This is looking very promising for SK.
Dennis just sitting top middle to make sure no one's going to push up. They're being more passive this time, expecting a response from SK. What a round in the last from Fallen, but it doesn't quite break them down, does it? Not yet. Not with the bomb plant, as you say.
Yeah, just enough to work with. Looks like an ace stroke on the Rops today. Ramp Lau in the apartments and a missed shot there from Fallen, but this is where coldzera can strike. I think he got a collateral there as well, hitting Oscar.
It looked it, but you'd think Oscar would be dead because it would have been a high hit. They both took damage, there's no doubt about that. Fur takes down Rops inside of sight, so Oscar's going to try and move back in. Cold definitely got him that time.
Yeah, and he didn't get an assist, so that was it.
Well, it would have been, you can't get an assist to a kill.
That's what I mean. So he must have been a collateral, as no one else had him.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I see, I was thinking the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Chris hits Fur. He might have jumped and I didn't see it. Chris is going to try and pull off as he can. Gets one. Get another 1v3 go his way this time instead. There's 4 kills for Fallen in his. It would be 4 the same for Chris if he were to pick this up, but bomb denied by Taco. Had to plant. There was only 5 seconds left when he died.
That's the thing. When you're in that scenario, the round's pretty much over. But there's 5 seconds on the clock. You can't exactly bait it out in the 2 versus 1. Sure, you could have maybe get 1 kill, but you still lose the round. So you had to go for the plant. Hunted down, no plant coming in. Maximum loss bonus, but without that actual bomb being fully planted, they don't get the extra $800. And we've got a replay right now of coldzera NABP work. Like we said, normally one of the most formidable orb duos we have in the game right now. So Mousesports now, they do get $3,400, but not really enough to buy with it. I assume this is the pause for Mousesports. At 3 versus 1 clutch with Fallen as well. Sure, it's the best of 3, but it's not the best way to kick off your morning. Rounds you should be winning, like Fallen's.
Speaking of kick off my morning, I didn't have coffee today.
You haven't?
No.
Well, I'm sure we can get someone to sort that out for you.
Yeah.
Get Jason to make you one.
If I'm cranky. Yeah, Dad, get me a coffee.
Yeah. Well, unpause comes in. The verdict has been called. It's going to be Mousesports with the partial buy here. 5 Tech 9s and some smokes. I've said it a million times before. These sort of rounds, you normally want to go for a full A execution. Try and get the bomb down, overwhelm the CTs as you run through the smokes with these insanely powerful pistols. Run a gun, and somehow Rob's got an early kill on Fur. He must have been pushing up middle. Have a look. I wasn't actually watching.
Molotov into
yeah,
Palace.
push middle.
Double smokes down, one in front of the A main position, and Fallen's going to back through the smoke by which he came because he wanted to try and get that fast shot. Rops is pushing middle, as you said, and Cold's going to watch him and should. Ooh!
Wow.
Should get the kill. Rops apparently knew exactly where he was. Very quick round from Mousesports, and it's more convincing than all of the others. They've got themselves in the sight with a bomb plant, just simply by catching off, SK as Rops takes down Phelps, and it's on to Fallen. He may do exactly that. It's hard to make puns on his name, they're just too obvious.
Well, unfortunately for Fallen, he might get a couple of kills here, but the round is over. Chris J watching his back, and it's going to be 5-2. So a round where Mousesports just have pistols. SK Gaming almost play into their hand because Fur going aggressive there by himself, taken down, gives a player like Robs a rifle there, and he gets a great shot from short as well to take down coldzera. That was very impressive. And that could be enough to break SK here, you know, as well. I can see an all purchase for Fallen, but SMGs are coming out as well, 3 of those, and Taco, the only player with another rifle here. So this is a difficult round for SK. They can pick this up, sure, they're right back into it. Team like them certainly can always have the potential to do so. Oscar, though, picking towards B, but smoked out for now. Seems where that's come from. The grenade, though, over his feet. It's 26 damage from that one. And we're going to round number 8. Fallen. He has to be the difference maker here. He's towards CT spawn, but looks like another A split coming in. That's a decent smoke towards connector this time, better than what Mouse deployed before. He won't have a gap towards short this time. Double smokes down, one in front of the A main position, and Fallen's going to
Good play from Cole to take down Chris. He gets 2 as he fakes up the ladder, jumps off, and nails him. UMP up close, has no difference in its effect as Fallen takes down Lowell and the bomb on Cat, and he leaves Oscar to just die. Or save the up.
Yeah, he could.
Minute 6, good luck.
Yeah, he's in the B apartments right now, bomb down. He would do very well to save at this point. The fact that SK has still got a UMP player, that's fair. Like I said, he can probably go hunting. That's a nice shot from Oscar to stay alive at this point. 1 minute remaining now to try and negate all CT presence. But the good news is for Oscar, SK can't really afford to run and hunt him down. Sure, it'd be lovely to take this orb out of his hands, but they're very fragile in their economy as well, as you can see illustrated on the screen right now. They can't really afford to give that much away. So sticking together, staying on the bomb, hope he comes for it, then take him down. I don't think they can justify actually going on a full-on hunt here. Oscar presumably will just be holding an angle, waiting for them to push, so might not be worth the effort. But Taco now, lying in wait in the B apartments. Oscar seems to be exploring the idea. Okay, he's going to be saving at this point, the kitchen zone, and we'll see whether he can manage to get away with it. SK, though, very good work from Coldzera. The UMP, like you said, it has been nerfed for anyone's unaware. Obviously, it's been a massive talking point of CSGO over the last 6 months or so. And it's been nerfed, but not really. So those kind of scenarios, like you said, close range, places like CPL, it's going to be just as effective as it was. It's the range that's dropped off slightly. There's Taco trying to push in and find Oscar at the last second. That would have been great to take him down then. You've got no money, but Oscar ready and waiting for it. Takes him down, 6-2. And we still have the orb and money available. And here's the replay of the close range UMP action, as we were saying, not nerfed. This is exactly the same.
Yeah, just to point it out, we're just to highlight the differences. I think people, we're not going to be able to come to a factual conclusion on one weekend without looking at data. But just to point out, at least people watching, if you're following the whole tournament, you can come to your own conclusion on what you think.
One thing I will say is the Famis is making a lot more appearances.
Yeah, so that's something to look into.
Yeah, so at least there's something.
Yeah, so I'm not, again, I don't want to make an opinion without looking at data of whether or not the nerf is enough, but by pointing out those little things where we see the FAMAS, where we don't, the up close, the range, again, people can start to make their own conclusions. It's on you is what I'm saying. I'm not thinking for you, viewers.
Well,
I don't think for you, Henry.
No.
Thank God.
It's fine. We're a tag team duo. You're the muscle, I'm the brains.
Brains and brawn. I think that's what you're going for.
It's a reference of another thing I'm doing. But
oh right, okay. Is that from the movie with the twins there?
No, it's not. It's not worth it getting into it.
Okay.
It's very tenuous.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on. Lowell's going to move on to connector. Smoke down, there was a gap, but not much to work with. Could have sat low on the stairs and tried to peek through, but no one was on the other side, at least in vision. Stairs into that. It's easy enough to look at the wall and look back, but Fallen compensates. Only just. He's on 3 HP. He's going all the way back to CT because he doesn't want to get naded as Phelps arrives on the flank. It took him a minute, but he got the kill in the end. They'll give up on him to go for the bomb. It's 27 seconds. Good shot from Rops takes Fallen. He only had 3 HP to deal with, but he still manages to do it with a Galil. So another weapon to mention. Swaps that to an AK now. Trying to rotate around and get in better positions at Catwalk to see all the way through toward A from Taco, but 17 HP for him. Phelps on 48. I think they're going to sit back and concede. So Mousesports about to pick up 2 in a row.
Rops is looking incredibly sharp right now. Still a 2-on-2, still with a shout at this one. The bomb ticking away though. Rops in a decent position just to get 1 kill and shut it down. I don't think SCX should go for this at this point. I think they know it.
Rops is going to get this kill.
He's amazing.
Great. Yeah. Seems like a nifty little Mirage player.
Yeah. I think, like, you think about it, right? He's 17 years old. This is, like, what, his 2nd big tournament now? Well, and maybe his first, like, Premier tournament, and he's performing as expected. Maybe not at superstar levels right now, but for a 17-year-old with no experience, this is insane. He's going toe-to-toe with SK Gaming, and in some rounds, blowing them out the water as well. Looking very confident indeed. Round number 10, and it's going to be a force buy from SK Gaming. They save 1 and 4. They force buy around it. Why not? SK seem to be very good at these sort of rounds. 1 and 4, CZs, 5 7s. A Mag 7 and a UMP. It's a mishmash of it, to say the least. But Mouse for now, they know they're up against it. They can hear the pistols being fired off. Just need to stick together, get that first pick, then go for execution. It's quite basic. But Phelps strikes first. He had a little one-way smoke there from the connector. Takes down Oscar. Nice scout to take down, considering he's the AWPer. There's a bit of damage toward Lowell as well, but for now, advantage towards SK.
Good shot, Dennis, under Phelps. Rops in position to take down Fallen, pushing through. Shotgun for Fur, UMP for Taco. 6-4 potentially for Mousesports. Dennis Molotov's off the ladder room with good effect, actually. Just about covered everything in there. And he'll burrow his way into the door. And he's in good position to take down. I believe it's Cold on the other side if he walks around. It is. I thought his pole position was named Ayrton Senna. It didn't have the name tag on it.
That's right. I remember you commenting on it.
Taco takes down Chris. Lowell takes down Taco. And that should be the round all done, because although Cold has gone all the way around quite quickly as well toward the CT stairs, the last we saw him he was on Cat. There's not really much he's going to be able to do. Infer with a shotgun as Dennis down below. He might get one kill onto Dennis. Ooh, there, now sees him.
Yeah, this should be SK out of the round, surely. Mousesports now fully breaking the economy of SK. That kill confirms it. Dennis taking down Fur. And it's just going to be poor Cold Zero now, who's only got the CZ. You want to what, sorry?
They really want an AK.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to get one.
Well, Cold Zero and CT spawn. Mousesports now winning 2 rounds in a row. Looking very good in terms of rounds going forward. This should force Eco out of SK now. Round number 11. 2K, pretty much per player. And it pretty much signifies it's going to be a full Eco at this point. Cold Zero with the CZ, sure. Head armor as well. Maybe they just get HE Grays and push middle, something like that. PD50 for fire. That's all that's really invested into this round. Mousesports making a convincing case for this one. Like, I was kind of thinking today when I was getting ready for this, I thought, is this even going to be a good game? And Mousesports will be able to go head-to-head with SK Gaming. It sounds like a mismatch on paper, right? But this team has proven the fact they've even got to the playoffs here is quite exciting for Mousesports. Like, they seem to be coming together quite nicely.
It is pulling together quite nicely. It's a good little team they've got now.
Yeah, that's the operative word, though, right? Team. They're not relying on superstars right now. Everyone's kind of having to work together to get these great results.
Rops could be a superstar, honestly. Good response from Fur to take him down. That does leave an AK that's in a grabbable position. So I'd grab that and save if I were them.
Well, yeah, saving the AK. Definitely a good idea. They'll have third stage loss bonus after this one. So $2,400 on top of their 2K right now. Fallen might not get the AWP out of this one. Doesn't look like anyone. Well, Attacker could drop one just about, but we'll see what they decide to do. I think they go 5 rifles at this stage, maybe go for a faster paced game. We'll see what they decide to do. Mousesports, though, another convincing round. Chris J at the Mac 10 doesn't find the frag. It's Robs. He's really racking them up right now. He must be close to this top of the scoreboard. Oscar with 10, Robs with 9. Chris J not far behind as well. Just having a look at the SK side of things as well. Taco, 4 kills, and at the top it's going to be Fur, who's been, I think, the MVP of the tournament so far. Definitely up there with the likes of Config. I think those are the 2 names that have had amazing performances so far. Robs is getting there as well.
So tactical timeout for SK, given they've lost now 4 of the last 5 rounds. So they got 1 in between, which was that hard reset for them. It's interesting that Mousesports are pulling this back so convincingly, and SK look to be suffering some of the same problems from the early days with Phelps, in that they're getting aggressive. When they're winning rounds, it looks great, everything's fine, they seem calculated. When they're losing rounds, they seem to get a little bit too aggressive at times and get caught off.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Fur pushing middle by himself. It doesn't look like he's backed up that much. If he goes down, that could be round over.
And look how aggressive Phelps wants to push on this map as well. We've seen a flank that was successful, but unfortunately they didn't win the round. It was a successful flank and that he got in position, but it's the fact that both of them are aggressive. It makes it hard for the other 3.
Well, for now, looks like a default round for SK, as we said. No money for the AWP. They're going for the 5 rifles first, saving the AK-47. Boost their chances somewhat. To be Oscar once again. They're trying to get his pick towards the B-side of the map. He knows that nade comes in after the smoke. Just about avoids it. Take a little bit of damage there. And we have some wallbang attempts coming in from Phelps. Not going to land anything just yet. He'll be falling back. And for now, very much a default round. Lowell still on the Mac 10. Interesting. Considering there's 2 players without head armor, that's Fallen and Taco. That could actually pay dividends for him. Smokes towards B. See on the site itself, and this won't be the commitment, man. This is the fake. You can see the bomb. That's in T-spawn right now. They're trying to force a rotation, which they've definitely done. Phelps on that side of the map as well. 3 players in B. Only 1 actually on the A bomb site. So this could be great. If Lowell or Chris J find a kill, which they do, this could be enough to force everyone over to the B side. That's the key kill right there.
Yep. Takes down Cold Zero. Fallen. Gonna try and time this. Does no one watching CT. That's a big misplay from Mouse. Because bomb goes down, it brings them level, and Fallen can continue to watch it. That is a great shot. But they do nothing about CT spawn, and I'm afraid that's going to cost them the round in the end because Chris removed lurking on B, can't do anything of it.
Very disciplined stuff from SK Gaming. If you're not aware, when you're the CT side and you're taking T's down at B, every kill you get, and even if you spot T's, you can see where they've got the bomb on their back in the radar, right? So they hadn't seen the bomb at that point. They didn't want to overcommit. They were fine. They were keeping the trades up towards the B site, so they kept 2 at A. Fallen one step ahead of the curve and manages to take those 2 kills down. That second one, especially from CT Spawn. Fantastic shot to secure the round. Good utility usage as well, dropping an HE on their heads. So very nice stuff from him. SK Gaming pull one back after losing 3 in a row. All back out for Fallen, of course. Still a little bit tight in terms of cash. You have to reinvest with all the grenades and bring that AWP out. But let's see what they can do here going into round number 13. Once again, aggression coming in from Fur in that connector area. Needs to be very careful. It does go down quite often. There he is again. Lau finds him through the smoke. It's going to be a 5-on-4 once more.
Dennis is going to rotate back through the horseshoe, and Bomb is going to go over toward A. They don't have a lot of information on that side of the map, to be fair, but the early pick, they can start to be dynamic, and they'll thin the defense out and try and prod for some information on a minute and 17. There's lots of time to do so. Do you know what one of the hardest decisions to make in terms of what you're going to say, saying it and having to be quick about it and think about it at the same time?
Yeah.
As a new caster, you know what it was?
What's that?
It's the simplest thing in the world, but when you look at the time, time's always changing. So you look, oh, there's a minute on the clock, but by the time you're done saying it, it's down to 58. Now it's down, see? So you have to think ahead.
Yeah. I normally just round it up, but I know exactly.
I know, but it's a funny thing. It used to bother me. Phelps, I used to try and guess so I'd nail it with how many words. It's Lowell that gets him back. Fallen that's smoked off as well in this. They got the bomb, so they lose one on the way through, but they're still creating space. They have the smoke gone again, though. So they have the smoke down this time. It's gone again. They've got to cover off CT this time. This is where they lost the round last time. Good pickup from Chris. They know Fallen is somewhere near the ticket booth, so they'll plant safe instead. And the smoke out's going to limit both he and Cold.
Of course.
Fallen through the smoke, through the box. Chris J in the head.
Yep, he seems to nail that shot more often than not. It's going to be a 3-on-2 now. Fallen, 33 HP with Cold 0 as well. The tag team duo has to step up here. Rob's low HP, and they've got the trifecta of doom. One in connector, one in A ramp, and the A palm as well. Open plant. CT shouldn't have a chance here without the smoke. Looking for any sort of pick. I think they need to save here. They probably know they can't win this round, but Fallen spotted one. Nails that shot, and maybe they do have a shout within this.
If they win this based on that shot. To start it off from Fallen, it would be ridiculous. He's got it again. 3 on the retake. Cold finishes it out, and SK are retake kings today, it seems.
You know, that's my favorite thing. When I actually say rounds not possible and someone just does something ludicrous like that, this just proves to you how good Fallen is right now. 15 kills, 5 deaths. He is back and is looking better than ever. What an amazing awareness he's got here. This was a shot. I thought, okay, let's get a shout at this one. To be fair, they can hear with the bombs being touched at that point. There's no real need to even start challenging. They can actually wait for the bombs to be touched. I guess it would have been the same result. Fallen was looking there either way, but so good. Fallen, great job there. Looking like it was an impossible situation, as I pointed out. That setup should have locked them down, especially when they had no nades as well. It's going to be round number 14, 8-5, and Fallen keeps delivering. It's going to be a force buy here from the terrorist side. Further aggressive once again, this time coming out on top against Chris J. That's one of the AKs dropped. Now it's up to 2 UMPs and the orb. Fallen looking towards the apartments, and Mouse have been getting the opening pick most of the rounds in the last few, but not number 14 here. If they don't win this, they'll almost certainly all win pistols for round number 15. So, bit of a struggle now. Man advantage for SK. Not overcommitting or giving much away. You can see one player in towards B. That's Taco. He's in the M4A4, just going to be jumping up. And as soon as he spots a player, he's normally quite safe with that jump. As soon as he spots one, he drops the incendiary, buying himself time and his teammates to rotate over.
So Ops will wait with Oscar. They'll decide who wants the bomb. It's not going to be Oscar, which means the Ops going to go aggressive to try and find an opening. Shots in, Fallen in it for go down. How does Lowell find those? Good flank through mid, apparently. Found space. They had no idea that he was there. This is going to pull Taco back over his direction. They should be able to get the sight, but Cold, he limits one off from Catwalk. He's in, position slow reaction. That's the round done. So good work from Lowell to get in.
Somehow.
Yeah,
that's
a lapse of judgment, I think, from SK.
Yeah, I think they were so focused on watching short, protecting Taco, and then they just thought window wouldn't be a possibility there. Yeah, lapse of judgment for sure. And it's going to be Lowell saving the round there after losing the first pick. It looked like a great setup for SK Gaming. He finds 2 towards that kitchen position as well. 2 UMP kills out of nowhere, and that throws a spanner in the works, and Taco and his setup has to take his attention away from B, and he gets pincered beyond belief. It's up to Phelps now, looking for some exit frags here, hoping that maybe they overextend, but the work has been done. Mousesports do manage to pick this one up. Round number 14 going in their favour. Phelps, I was going to say, was he thinking about a ninja there? Apparently not. He'll be falling back as well. Money is hardly established for SK, so this could be Mousesports finding the 7th round as well. We've got Cold Zero on about 5 grand. Phelps saves his rifle. It'll be a mixture. Oh, actually manages to save the AWP. That's actually quite good news for him. So it'll be a mixture of AWPs and CZs and UMPs. Okay, so he got the kills in CT spawn. That was actually, he got through the window, found them rotating. Very good timing, very lucky timing perhaps. But he nails it. It's going to be number 15 here. Double AWP set up for Cold Zero and Fallen. Squeezing out what they could. CZs, 2 UMPs and 2 AWPs. So obviously pressure towards the likes of Fallen. He rises to the occasion and takes out Oscar.
Phelps is going to take down Lowell. Nade goes in toward a main. And they'll swap over the guns and try and go for more. So good shots to start it off from both Phelps and Fallen for SK. On this round 15, they want to go 9-6, which testament to Mousesports, I think, more than anything, in that they pick up 6 rounds on the T side against SK. Looking like a formidable force in this event.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a Molotov will go down towards CT stairs. It's Rops that wants to try and fire in first. Spots Fallen, but Phelps is going to continue to get closer. Fallen's able to take down Rops over top of Tetris. And it's just 2 to remain. Valiantly to go for this as well. They have to. Close, good shot. No chance of finding Phelps in the corner though, and he'll just spray through. Good round from him. 3 kills in total. 9-6 is where we end up. 10 rating.
Yeah, quite an interesting half, I have to say. SK Gaming losing the pistol, winning that 2nd round force by building us some momentum there, but Mousesports fought back. Rops especially, great performance from him, but the MVP status goes towards Fallen so far. He's looked amazing. 9-6 in favour of SK. Can Mousesports get back into it? I'm not so sure. We'll find out after the break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Lenovo Legion, Xfinity, ESCA, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, Logitech G, and Zowie.
Well, it's been a great start, and what I mean by that is, as Chad said, start of rounds. Mousesports looked very, very good. Obviously, there was some individualistic plays from SK that had a lot to do with the score in that particular half. Think about economy on those 2 clutches as well. Fallen's in a 1 versus 3 as he walks back into the site, and then Fallen again with Cold
it's nuts,
as they take a 4 versus 2 on a shot through a smoke and a box.
Insane. Fallen's one of my favorite players in the world. Just that kind of stuff seems to be delivered every single game he plays. It's nuts. But still, round number 1 here. The 2nd half, we'll have a look at the buy for the T side, of course. 2 smokes, Molotov, and flashbangs as well. But fast play from Oscar. He manages to get the first pick, taking down Fur. CT's just relentless at this point. They're not going to be giving in with just 1 pick. They want a little bit more here, it seems, with Fallen striking back, taking down Dennis.
Rops. Ooh, good shot, Taco.
Nasty.
Oscar's still looking. Ooh, good shot as he gets Phelps.
He's doing it again.
He's going to continue to walk in. Oh, just a good enough peek from Fallen. Shoulder peek got the location. Headshot snap. Cold's able to take down Chris J, excuse me, but Lowell in this. He's lost sight of him, though. Does he check Chimney? He does. Does he get the kill? Awkward exchange. I expected a knife to be pulled out pretty soon.
Yeah, that's
SK that's going to pick it up.
The USP at that sort of range. You miss the first couple of shots, you start dancing around each other. It's so 50-50 you actually win the duel at that point. But nice work from SK Gaming. They lost the first pick, but struck as soon as it went down. It's Fallen, very assertive towards the A side as well. A couple of decent smokes towards jungle and spawn as well. Managing to get that early plant down, and no kits available for the CT side at that point. Gives SK Gaming the second half pistol. They didn't win in the first half, they did win the second round force by. Can Mousesports replicate that sort of form? We'll find out now. They've got Deagles, CZs, P250s, and a UMP. Another mishmash buy from them. Lau has got the aforementioned SMG to work with here. We'll see what he can do. For now, heavy focus towards the A side of the map. We see 4 players there. Bomb still down towards top and middle, though. We have got 1 player in the apartment, so that's Taco. He's got the AK-47, 2 of those available. Fallen and Taco with the slightly more firepower than their teammates. Fur with the MAC-10.
Rob's Deagle in hand.
Bye-bye, Dennis. Oh, okay. Hello, Dennis.
Dennis gets Taco, yeah. Calm down, Henry. Fur's got Chris back, but it's an AK picked up, trying to get MAC-10. Fur hits it somehow. I think the aim punch is the factor there. Did he have armor? I think he did have armor because they all seemingly did, so it's quite impressive. As Rops gets Fur back, though. They're going to try and hold off the bomb plants. 2 remain, make it just the 1. The young valiant Rops.
He's going to get the headshot.
He's pretty flashy.
Yeah, he really is. 2 kills in that round. It seems like these superstar players that just were made within CSGO, they seem so good at the Deagles. Like, you just think to all the little superstars we have, that the Deagle is one of the weapons they're always really exciting with. Well, round number 3 coming in. This should be the eco for Mousesports at this point. 11-6 is certainly going to be 12. Double MAC-10 set up for SK, UMP for Cold Zero as well. Just PT50's purchase from Mousesports here in terms of a stack. Focusing towards A, and Fur, once again, his aggression letting him down. He's doing this on the CT side as well. Where's the refrag? Sure, he's only got a MAC-10, it's not a huge deal, but still, that was not really necessary for him to run in by himself. What's the real objective there when he's got the MAC-10? Fur's recovering the situation though, taking out Dennis. I guess Fur just had a good spawn, wanted to get some intel. He has killed the information that they are going to be in a stack towards that side of the map, and looks like he's been recovered at this point. A control coming in. He's left B, and they're still hitting shots here with the P250s. Still not comfortable, really. Now it is. That's fine.
That works. Rops back out toward.
We could have a double AWP situation next round. Jay and Oscar, both with the money.
Run it. They definitely can run it. Yep. It's not like they're incapable.
There's Chris J's.
Oscar,
as well.
Yeah, Oscar's got more money. He's in a better financial situation than Chris was. So good call.
Well, here we go then. Obviously, if you're not aware, it's going to be Oscar who was brought in to be the main AWPer, taking over the role from Chris J essentially. But Chris J, still a very good AWPer in his own right. He will be filling that secondary role. Every now and then, he's actually the primary AWPer on the maps like Nuke as well. So they do mix it up time to time, but overall, it's going to be Oscar the main AWPer. Let's see what they can do here. No AWP with the T side, though.
This is old school. Oh, the smoke negates it. Good movement from Chris. The boost for an AWPer, that's old school.
Yeah.
Obviously, it means the second man's not watching catwalk, so they don't have as much information for what middle as a result. They stay passive in A, and 1 backed off at window. Make sure no one gets boosted up, so they have to give up a little to try and go for that play off the start.
SK Gaming going to be ruthless on their T side. It's either very, very fast A splits coming in or very tactical executions as well. I would say it's going to be a mixture of both here. You can see there's 2 players towards the A side of the map in form of Cold Zero and Taco. 1 in the apartments, 1 at A ramp. Very good at the A splits, but it looks like more of a contact play. Get in towards that connector, find the pick, and then strike as soon as you get contact. And there it is. Nothing really used in terms of grenades as of yet.
Just completely blind, finds his way into the corner somehow near fire. Tagged him. Fallen with bomb down to 9 HP. Rops could swing and take him and get him in the post. Can't deny the plant, but he's in good position in shadow. Taco's above that, though, so they have to confront each other sooner or later. Rops Playing a game of chicken at this point, waiting for his teammates to get in line. Taco knows he's down there, but desperate, I think, with the spray. That baits him out to cold.
It's a save now, no kids. Ooh, Chris J going down. That's a big kill to get. Just loud now, like you said, no kids remaining. And that was a classic contact play from there. A split from SK Gaming. Not a single grenade really used there, Matt. They ascertain mid-control, pushing them back at the start of the round. They have players in A ramp and the Palace area as well. Walking to connector. Seemingly, Mousesports not really watching it as well. They're waiting for the grenade to come in. Then they're going to strike with grenades themselves. But they just walk into the site, overwhelm the CTs, hitting the shots required. And poor old Robs did what he could there. He was hiding on the bomb side for so long, but not given anything to work with there, considering they came from the connector and not really the air ramp itself. He gets taken down. We find ourselves at 13-6. And what was looking like a promising game for Mousesports is falling apart now. Another EK for them. PT50 CZs and a default pistol for Chris J. 3 sets of body armor. A miracle for them to win this, so up against a fully equipped SK Gaming. We've currently won 4 rounds in a row here. Dennis trying to find a headshot. Oh my god, he does it again in towards the Palace area. Very good stuff by him. He's one of the players that has been stepping on this tournament. To be fair, right now he's only on 5 kills, 17 deaths. But Chris J with the silenced USP, default C2 pistol, actually doing some work here.
Good play from Oscar, though, with the pistol as well. So things are... Oh, wow, this is ridiculous. This is the same as what we saw in the first half, almost, from SK.
Yeah.
You're going to see a force buy with all 5 staying alive.
It wasn't even...
They're all going to get
that
it.
was just PT50s and USPs with body armor. Yeah. No nades.
And they're going to get AKs and AWPs off of it. So that's a return to...
Right back in the game.
Yeah, that's quite impressive, I have to say.
Because that would have been 14-6 and money still would have been tight, but that's amazing. Okay, then. Good work. Round 21. Reset potential has been kind of negated as well. Winning at Valico, that's going to set you up for a couple of rounds. Robs towards A ramp, and this is looking like another contact play from SK Gaming. 4 players towards the A ramp, and Robs firing bullets here. Somehow gets the kill, though. Has to fall back at this point.
Taco gets him in the fallback, though, not fully blinded as he gets through. Double flash in toward jungle. That's going to push everyone back, and Taco will take position, push through the smoke. Okay, it works. Oscar down, deep smoke, 1 to the left. It's Dennis in behind the chimney, and I doubt they'll know he's here. He could actually find 2 himself. Gets Fur, but not Taco. He gets just around the corner in time.
Ball not planted yet. Chris J from the connector, trying to potentially shut down the open plant. Dennis in towards jungle as well. Hasn't got much to work with, and even less so now. Taka taking down Chris J, 3-on-2. Dennis low HP as well. He's in the window. He'll be detected. I think this round might be over, and this is devastating after winning a pistol round. Lau still fighting back, though. He's at the A ramp, down to 40 as well.
So Dennis will hold station in jungle. Force his hand on Taco by putting a Molotov in toward connector, and now he starts to go as his teammate gets in toward A main. Lowell, in fact, more than just an A main. He's all the way in the middle of the site, but it's Fallen who's going to win out the duel, and Lowell on low HP between 2 is going to go down either getting a kill or none at all, which is the way it went.
Well, we still have money, like we said, but SK Gaming, another fast play there. We saw it was Robs. He was spraying through the smoke there, and that's him falling back. That's when you've got the silenced M4, right? You only have 20 bullets in the magazine. If you spray bullets like that, the T's are going to hunt you down straight away. They know you're going to fall back. You don't have the chance to actually return fire. Taco, great round from that point. Very assertive, pushing for that smoke, using that gut feeling that he's built up over years of playing Counter-Strike, and going towards jungle as well. He has another reload, gets another kill. Dennis had a chance to shut him down, but couldn't do much with low HP. It's going to be round number 22 now. 14-7 in favour of the Brazilians. Double up set up for the CTs here, like we said. Residual money after winning the Felica, but Fur, he's having none of it. You know, very aggressive player so far in this game. This time it pays off, takes down one of the orbs, Oscar. It will be a 5-on-4. No other damage inflicted just yet. Dennis in towards our window position. Smoked out for now. Fur in the connector, though. Dennis needs to step up here. Very quiet game for him in terms of what we've seen in recent form. 7 for 18. Still not have it yet. Mousesports, match point has not been reached, so there's always a chance, but losing this round would mean no money. And a match point for SK. 8 in the bag to work with.
Fur's going to wait. Good position, good angle, good map control. I feel like saying that word becomes a buzzword because we say it so much.
Yeah.
But good map control nonetheless.
Well, in a key position like connector, definitely. If it takes vision away from the CTs, I don't know if you're in there. It should be with the kill here, but Phelps nails him, rails him across.
Interesting timing, the way they danced out behind that pillar.
This is a nightmare now. No nades ready for the CTs, no kits. Double orbs, if that bomb goes down, they're done for. Chris J needs to... Well, not Chris J, maybe more Lau. He's got the other orb on the A side of the map. Needs to bait in Robs and then some. This
Fallen's got it. Henry's disappointed. Rops is in great spot, though, has bomb, but thankfully Taco comes out from Palace in time, and Phelps will kill Chris J. Because as you were pointing out, bomb was down at Sandwich. They would have had to grab that plant. They would have made it, by the way, because the player just got back with bomb and radar.
Yeah, I saw that
at
as
5
well.
seconds. So it was still a close call.
Well, this is looking like potentially the last round here of Mirage. It was a great first half, I have to say. Mousesports there, very good Counter-Strike in terms of getting the executions in and throwing some fakes in there as well. They got 6 rounds of total with the pistol victory after getting force support in the second. So 6 rounds was decent, but the second half has been a bit of a nightmare for them. It's going to currently be 6-1. Map 1, of course. It's a best of 3 against SK. Moving on to Cash next, which could be even worse news, I have to say. And this one looks like it's over. First 2 kills for SK coming in. Quite a clinical performance so far. Haven't really break a sweat. Robs with the only weapon. He's got the UMP. 2 pistols for Lau and Chris J as well. And I think this is reaching ahead now.
Robs, Fallen's got it though in return. Lowell and Chris. All that remain in this map 1, best of 3 quarterfinal, SK. Looking more, I don't want to say identical to the incredible form they had on day 1, but more to that than they were yesterday.
You have to remember they got bailed out by like 2 or 3 rounds by Fallen, right?
Exactly. So it's not perfect, but it's better than yesterday.
Yeah, definitely better than yesterday. But yeah, still overall, I would say they looked a bit shaky in the first half, but recovering the second, that was more. Yeah, you need to be very careful.
I thought I was about to fall. Sorry.
But it's fine. So, yeah, good first map there from SK Gaming. Mousesports, probably a bit disappointed with that. They took the pauses. They tried to do what they could. The first half was decent, but it couldn't get rolling at all. After losing the pistol, overwhelmed. Very aggressive once again. I think MVP, though, has to be said. Fallen in the first map just because of those clutches and keeping SK's head above water and essentially winning them the first half.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Essentially. I would say he did win them the first half. On that note, I'm going to send it over to a man that wins every half he's ever played. His name is Moses.
That means, but I like it. Welcome back to the Xfinity Analyst Desk. Yes, that is map 1 going to SK Gaming. A dominant performance, 16-7. Some rough stretches in the first half, boys, but that T-half was just clinical. It looks like their offense is back to rolling like it was on day 1.
Yeah, I think that's partly because Mousesports played a very timid CT side as well. We didn't really see a whole lot of opposition come out from them in terms of just disrupting SK's way of taking mid control and so on. Even, when you're allowed to do an A execute without expending a single nade, then, the CTs are probably giving you a bit too much for space to work with.
Yeah, I mean, we noticed that round that Fur was just up connector with a minute and 32 left on the clock still in the round. He's there in like 20 seconds and just getting 1 kill.
Yeah, I think for me the positives were mainly on Mousesports' T side.
Yep.
The scoreline doesn't really reflect how well I thought they played. They obviously made a lot of blaring mistakes with afterplant situations, but actually getting those bomb sites, getting that bomb down and getting to that point was fantastic. They had a lot of variety. They were able to do it relatively slow. You might look at the scoreboard and say, hey, Dennis didn't contribute, but I have a theory with that guy that I think when he's playing faster Counter-Strike, which is not what they did here, he has more of an impact because he finds room and then he can find frags. Here we didn't see that from him. It was the other players like Robs, the more methodical guys getting into those bomb sites. For SK, I'm a little bit worried with their CT hold on this because Fur and Phelps are so aggressive, right? Back when they had FNX, he was a bomb site anchor. He would play in that bomb site. So what that allows is his rotators to be able to get awesome crossfires based off of his position in the site. When you're Phelps and Fur and you're playing close A ramp and you're playing close apps, when you die, your rotator is screwed. He now has everything to worry about. The bomb site anchor is normally like the beacon. It's like, okay, we have to kill the bomb site anchor. Meanwhile, rotators come and get a couple of free frags. We don't see that happening with the A bomb site of SK. Maybe that's something they can look to address in the future. But all in all, Fallen, boy.
Yeah, I mean,
what a guy.
Just bringing his name up and some of the ways that he saved them. Obviously, that 1-on-3, that initial 1-on-3 clutch he had, which was actually a 2-on-3 with Coldzera first, but so far from the bomb site as well. And this is some of his opping just coming back into form. And it's just where it's very obvious it makes the Mousesports players feel uncomfortable when he's coming into the sites. And all he's really doing is running and jumping around. But it's almost like they just felt like they had every disadvantage in the book.
But still, though, like even as good of a performance as it is from Fallen's side, you still have to wonder and question what
the thought process.
Yeah, the two remaining Mousesports players are doing in this kind of scenario.
That first one, there was a mistake. Why is he hunting that frag? Okay, so obviously they want to take the AWP out of his hands, but then this one here, that guy could have jiggled around the box to delay more time, or Chris J could have been spotting and taken away the attention first. Now he has to wide peek, because what you said backstage was he had to pick out wide or the bomb would have been defused. He couldn't have jiggle peeked that, right? So all 3 players had blunders, and my theory for this could be the lack of communication based off the fact they're all speaking a second language, being English. But we both agree that the theory is there, right? They're doing the right theory to get to those points. It's just the execution at the end or the finishing touches are wrong.
Well, we saw them have some blunders with post plants yesterday against Liquid in their matchup on Inferno. Remember, that's when Twist has that CZ when they all go hunting for the frags far too early in the bomb timer. How do you fix an issue like this, though? It seems so fundamental.
It comes down to what the actual issue is. Obviously, we can only speculate, and if it is communication, I think that's something that will get worked out over time. It's something that they can iron out, but sometimes it's just some players make boneheaded decisions. That's just how it is. Some players are not the greatest, intuitive decision makers that you have. I don't necessarily think that's the case for Mousesports. So I think it's more likely that it is an issue with communication or the fact that they're not really used to being in this kind of a situation.
Yeah, it's high pressure.
Exactly. Like, sure, they've been in situations like this online, but it's a very, very different environment altogether. So when they have this kind of pressure put on them, they're actually playing better than SK to start off the game. That's an unfamiliar territory for you, so you kind of have to feel yourself out, and you're not going to, get the right decision every single time the first time around. So this is something that's going to come over time for them, I think.
Yeah, it's still that learning curve, right? I think we can give these guys time based off the fact of the newest edition as well. I was gonna be harsh and say they need to switch their brains on, but I guess their brains need to get to a point where they've evolved to be switched
Needs
on.
to be
right?
assimilated.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? LAN is hard.
Yeah.
Right. And when they're not playing a fast branded Counter-Strike, it's even harder because you have to think more. You can't just rush in and get frags. That's not what they were doing. They were playing very smart Counter-Strike, but getting caught out in after-plan positions or playing the situations just really poorly.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much what it is, because after-plant positions require, or after-plants in general require a lot more self-decision making and just thinking on the spot instead of just having that theory around it, right?
Yeah, they're the ones that require that theory beforehand, that you know how to play those situations so that you're not making those kinds of mistakes in the actual moment itself, right?
Exactly.
Either way, this Mirage for SK, let's switch back over to SK as the winners of this match. This Mirage still seems to be dangerous. T side was clinical. CT side, yes, some issues. I know you have a clip that you wanted to talk about where they actually played a very nice round during a fake, but this is a SK that looked dangerous on this map again.
Yeah, and mainly more on that T side. On the CT side, like we said, it was Fallen having to bail them out with those clutch situations. They weren't really doing anything cohesively as a team that I liked, especially with that A stuff that I've already harped on about. With that T side, I liked the pace change that they had. I liked the fact that Fallen was allowing his players to have a bit of aggression and playmaking, like we saw Fur and Connector. We already touched on that. And the other positive was the fact that when they did do that strategy, that first gun round where Mousesports had no utility. Yeah. They had an AWP and stuff, but they didn't really play aggressively, and SK took advantage of that, and then that kind of trickled on down the line, and that's what was fantastic to see from Fallen calling to that level.
Yeah, and I mean, now for Mousesports, where do they kind of move forward in this series? I mean, is this an easy bounce back? Is this? I mean, those post plants, when you lose those seem to be the most crushing, right? Those seem to be just heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking because you knew you could have done so much more for yourself to be in a better position. And obviously, who knows what happens if you actually get the economy somewhat under control on your CT side and you're able to have a couple of rounds to actually play aggressively and so on. That could change the tide for Mousesports. But you're going into your own map pick now.
Right.
This is where you make your change. So bouncing back from losing SK's map pick, not the hardest thing in the world.
Yes, and actually the map pick that Mousesports has is Cash, a map that's been faithful to them in the past. Either way, map 1 goes to SK 16-7. A chance to close out the series when we return from the break. Stay tuned for Cash.